Three common mistakes people make in their resumes. Number one, unnecessary design. Now, this is something that I personally used to do a lot as well. Now, I used to make my resumes like look good, like, or try to make them look good, like be creative and all. So I don't think this applies to industry or professional level roles. It may like work in some creative roles. So resumes like this is what I'm talking about, where people spend a lot of energy, a lot of resources into making their resumes look unique, colorful, look vibrant. Now, this is good and all. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. That's the title of the video. So this is not good. This is something that I recommend you should not do. First, it uses up a lot of time. Second, think in terms of the recruiter. I mean, this is something that's going to make your resume stand out, but it doesn't look professional. It looks a bit weird, like in my opinion. This may work for any like creative type roles, but I don't think so. It works for any like industry level roles. So yeah, so make sure to keep your resume simple, traditional. Keep it super simple. Just use like maybe a Word doc. Just use Word to create your resumes. Like no need for like any advanced Photoshop or any like advanced templates and so on. So yeah, so that's number one, unnecessary design. Number two, no structure. Now this is something I see a lot in a lot of the young people that I've been around, like during high school, college time, even some like industry people as well. Their resumes lack structure. Now you need to like resume, it's you often fall into a trap, which I fell into once as well, where like you're trying to, because it's one thing that represents you the most, you want it to stand out the most, you want it to like showcase all of your creative output and everything. But you have to use a bit of psychology as well in this. Resumes, like recruiter who are reviewing resumes, oftentimes they don't have a lot of time, like they just quickly scan through each other. So resumes that have a good structure tend to have higher chances of getting noticed. So by structure, I mean like things like not putting like two columns of data next to each other, because you have to think like recruiters are humans. They have eyes. Your eyes follow a linear path. Like you can't look at two things at once. So you either like go from left to right or top to bottom. So whenever you're structuring your resume, just make sure you have like this rows, like no two column, like single column, just like go top to down, like don't do the two column stuff. That's something that I'm personally not a fan of, and a lot of people who like whose resumes I review, that is not an ideal way of conveying the best information. So just make sure you follow a good structure, a good linear structure. One recommendation that was made to me by a Microsoft's principal manager was to follow this structure, and this is something I do in my resume as well. I'll link down a template down below, so if you guys want to follow my resume, you can do that as well. So the structure that was recommended to me is that so you start off by your name, your projects, your skills, your education, your professional experience, and your accomplishments. So this is a super simple linear structure which highlights the most important thing at the top. So which is your projects, your skills, what are some of the things you can do, educational background, your work experience, and your accomplishment. So yeah, so just think again in terms of your recruiter. They have eyes, their eyes follow a linear path. They go top to down. Don't show like those two, although it may look cool, don't do that. So yeah, so keep your resume well structured. Number three, not adding quantifiable metrics. I think this is a big thing. Like again, you have to use a bit of psychology as well. Now this is a big thing that helps you showcase your impact that you've done in the past. Because with the resume, it's really hard to like encapsulate everything that you've done in the past. And one mistake that people made is not including metrics. So metrics include like percentages or like statements, like for example, this is an example. For example, I worked for a restaurant app, like I made a restaurant mobile app. So I increased their monthly orders by X amount, for example. Or say you worked in a real estate company. I increased their leads by this % this month. So stuff like this, so add lines like this in your resume that showcase your impact. So this helps recruiter get a sense of what you've done and what you're capable of. Because again, think in terms of a recruiter, they don't look through the resume, they just quickly scan through. Best case scenario, they like spend some time on your resume, but the general scenario is that they just quickly scan through your resume and then they're just looking for keywords. And these metrics, these quantifiable metrics, these numbers are things that showcase your experience. So make sure to add those. And another bonus tip, another bonus thing I guess I'll highlight, a mistake that people make is not making their resume one page. No, this is a big thing. If like always keep your resume a single pager. Like if you can't showcase all your information on a single page, it's probably not, it has low chances of going through. Now there are a lot of exceptions to this, but generally in my experience, keep it simple, just one page. Recruiters, again, don't have a lot of time. They're just quickly scanning through looking for keywords. If you have everything in one page, it'll be super easy for them to follow. So yeah, so those are my quick 3 mistakes on what people do wrong in their resumes. So number 1, unnecessary design. They put in a lot of effort to make it look vibrant, creative, colorful. Don't do that. Just follow a traditional, super simple pattern. Number 2, no structure. They don't have a linear structure. They either have like 2 columns of data or like 2-3 data points at once. It makes it a bit harder for recruiters to follow. So just make sure you keep your resume simple and have a linear structure. And number 3, adding no quantifiable metrics. Now this is a big one. You know, you need to add some percentages, some numbers to showcase some of the impact that you've done. Now in your resume, you're highlighting what you worked on, how you worked on, but you also need to do why you worked on it. What was the key impact you did from that project or from that work experience? So make sure to add that. So if you found this video helpful, make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what videos you'd like me to make in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one.